This happened last Halloween in Beaverton, Oregon, and I still think about it every single day. I'm Marley, I'm 19, and I babysit sometimes for extra cash. This family, the Dorans, they needed someone last minute because their usual girl got sick. They lived really close, like 2 blocks from my apartment, so I said sure. Easy money, right? I got there around 6. The kids were Finn, who's 7, and baby Cleo, who's like 9 months old. Nice kids. We played Uno for a bit. I made them mac and cheese, then tucked Finn into bed around 8. The parents, Rachel and Tom, they left for some Halloween party downtown around 9:30. The house was quiet after that. I sat on the couch, scrolling through my phone, eating some of their Halloween candy. I'd forgotten my charger at home, which annoyed me because my battery was at like 20%. Around midnight, I checked the baby monitor they'd left on the coffee table. That's when things got weird. The screen showed the living room, but the TV was on. I looked up. The actual TV in front of me was off. I walked over and touched it. Cold, not on, but on the monitor screen, I could see it glowing. Different angle though, like the camera was somewhere else. I picked up the monitor and started walking around. The image kept changing. Kitchen, hallway, basement stairs. These weren't the normal baby monitor views. This was something else. I found stairs going down to the basement. I didn't want to go down there, but I had to figure out what the hell was going on. There was this little desk tucked in the corner behind some storage boxes. An old computer monitor sat there, connected to cables running along the wall. I turned it on. Security footage, multiple camera feeds, all showing different rooms of the house. I clicked through files, dates going back months. My hands were shaking. In the videos, I saw someone walking through the house, just casually walking around. At night, when the family was gone, no broken windows, no forced doors. They had a key. I kept looking, found the side door in one video. There was this tiny, weird mark near the lock. I ran upstairs and checked. Under some chipped paint was a small hole, like someone had drilled it and painted over it. A homemade keyhole. Back downstairs, I kept searching the files. One clip showed a man walking past the house late at night. I recognized him. That neighbor, Dennis, from 3 doors down. The guy who'd waved at me when I arrived earlier. Smiled real friendly. The folder had his name on it. Dennis October, with dozens of videos. Then I saw another folder. Just created yesterday. It was labeled Cleo_room. I called Rachel immediately. They came home fast. Police showed up. Changed all the locks that morning. They found the cameras hidden in vents, behind picture frames. Dennis moved away a week later. Police said they couldn't prove anything. But here's what keeps me up at night. There were other folders, names I didn't recognize, addresses I'd never heard of. And one folder was just labeled Next. My name's Kaelan, and I'm just a regular guy from Portland who travels a bit for my sales job. Last Halloween weekend, I was down in Austin, Texas for this conference thing. Hotels were charging an arm and a leg, so I figured I'd try one of those rental apps for a cheap room. The listing said cozy private stay in a quiet neighborhood near downtown. Sounded perfect, you know? I booked it quick without thinking much. I got there late Friday night. The host, this older dude named Harlan, met me at the door. He seemed nice enough, handed over the key and said to make myself at home. The place was an old house split into rooms, mine upstairs with a small bed, a desk, and this ancient fan that rattled like it was about to fall apart. I remember unpacking and noticing the curtains were kind of thin, letting streetlight sneak in. Oh, and I left my phone charger in the car that night. Had to run back out in the dark, which annoyed me because the driveway was all cracked and uneven. Anyway, I crashed early, tired from the drive. Around 3 a.m. though, these knocks started. Not loud, but steady, like tap, tap, tap on the door downstairs. I sat up, heart pounding a little. Waited, but it stopped. Then it happened again. I peeked out the window, but saw nothing. Texted Harlan in the morning, and he just replied, "Probably neighborhood kids pulling pranks. Happens every Halloween." Okay, fine, I thought. Kids being kids. But it left me uneasy, like maybe I should have picked a hotel after all. That day, I was out at the conference, but when I got back, the house felt quiet in a bad way. The floorboards creaked every time I walked. Reminded me of how my grandma's old place in Seattle used to groan when the wind hit it. I tried to shake it off, watched some TV on my laptop, made a sandwich, but forgot to wrap the bread, so it got stale overnight. Dumb mistake, right? Night 2, no knocks, but I slept light, dreaming weird stuff about shadows moving. Sunday morning, I was packing to head out early. As I grabbed my bag from under the bed, my foot hit a loose floorboard. It popped up easy, like it wasn't nailed right. Underneath, tucked in the dust, was this old battery-powered digital viewer thing, like one of those cheap photo frames, but for videos. Batteries were still good. I don't know why I turned it on. Curiosity, I guess. It had folders of clips, dozens, all from the house. Guests sleeping, mumbling in their dreams. People packing, chatting on phones about private stuff. One showed a couple arguing quietly. My hands shook as I clicked more. There was a folder labeled Halloween Last Year. Party footage, folks laughing, costumes on. Then, this one guest slips something into a drink under the table, real sneaky. Passes it to another person who drinks it without noticing. What the hell? The last clip. Someone in a plain mask grabs a small bag from a drawer, leaves the room, comes back later, puts the mask away like nothing. I froze. This was footage without consent. Hidden cameras? I didn't upload anything, just stared. Called the rental platform right away. They said they'd investigate. Harlan denied it all. Rooms used by contractors sometimes must be theirs. Platform pulled the listing fast. But here's the shit that keeps me up. That viewer's memory card? It looked copied already. Later, I heard whispers on some private forum online. Clips circulating, faces blurred by hand. Someone curating them for blackmail, maybe. I never found cameras in my stay. Was I recorded? Did Harlan know? I trashed the viewer, but the thought lingers. Every Halloween now, I check floors twice. What if it's still out there? I never thought I would tell this to anyone, but here goes. I am Ethan, and I worked the late shift at a 24/7 convenience store in Detroit. I needed cash, and it seemed easy. The store was small, tile floors, one bright freezer, and a back room that smelled like old coffee. Night shifts feel slow. You read, check lottery, sometimes nap. One night, maybe 3 weeks after I started, the alarm pinged at 2 a.m., a tamper alert. I froze. The monitor showed a hooded figure at the back entrance. The figure stood at the door like he was waiting. I called the manager, Rosa, and she told me not to worry. "Vagrants," she said. "They trip it." She told me just keep the doors locked. I believed her and locked the deadbolt. After that, small things happened. A pack of gum, a couple dollars from the till. It could be me. I kept thinking that. But then it became a pattern. Every week something small was missing. The register numbers matched when we closed. Cameras showed nothing, like nothing ever happened in the frame. One angle had a smear on the lens. The color matched the company maintenance crew shirts. I found an invoice. After hours maintenance, it was signed. The pen pressure was wrong in places, heavy then light. Someone rushed. I followed papers. I asked a clerk, Janelle, if she knew. She bit her lip and looked away. Cade, she said finally. He swaps keys with a local crew sometimes. Cade was the night manager. He had a crooked smile. I thought maybe he was a motherfucker. I wanted to call the cops, but I was scared of losing my job. I kept working. One night I stayed late to watch. I cleaned counters until my neck hurt. Around 1:50 a.m., the door opened. Not a customer. Two guys walked in. One wore a crew jacket. They walked straight to the back. I watched the camera. The feed glitched then. The angle with the smear froze. My hands shook. They took petty cash. They took small things to not draw notice. They moved soft and quick. One of them smiled at the back door like he knew me. I am sure of that look. I called Rosa the next day. She looked tired. We cleaned it up, she said. Corporate is looking into it. They sent someone from corporate. A supervisor got fired. They changed locks. They put up a notice offering a reward for tips about unauthorized access. Everyone was quiet after. Janelle stopped talking at breaks. People avoided Cade. He disappeared one night. Corporate said they closed gaps and fixed it. Some employees refused to speak to investigators. They shook their heads. I still get flashes in my head. A hooded figure, a paint smear, a rushed signature. I quit a month later. I still drive by the store sometimes. It looks normal. New locks, a reward poster in the window. I can't explain why the cameras cut or why the crew color matched the smear. I can't explain why some people would trade keys for cash. Maybe it was just crooked people. Maybe worse. I don't know. I just remember the face at the back door and the way he watched like he owned the place. Sometimes I swear I see someone standing by that door when I pass, and I still wake up sometimes thinking about that night, alone. It haunts me.